All right, welcome to another kind of podcast episode. You'll notice there's no screen share, so it's just all me. I got to maintain your attention, keep your focus. But this is something that I'm really pumped about and excited about. So, the topic is going to be about how, as a company, are we using AI, going to use it practically, especially for a platform like ours that's a platform and it's guidance, people helping nonprofits run great events. And so I'm going to just kind of cruise through a little bit of that human first focus, give you a quick 5 mile perspective, and then maybe try to dive a little bit into some of these points, just not to, bore you to death. So, at the top, ClickBid is a human first company. I've been saying that for a long time. I think, in one analogy, I use a funnel, and the bottom half of the funnel are, when people ask questions, AI can be good at the what, how, and where. But our team of people that have been doing events for years and years, have been going to events, supporting events, answering thousands of questions. We answer the why questions. Why am I doing this? Well, how do I, yeah, I see how I do this, but why don't I do it this way? That is why, I think we are so successful in our niche in this space, because we really do have the best support for nonprofits in the space. And we are never looking to replace people with AI at all levels, whether it's support, development, finance, marketing, and so on. AI is really being used, I think, effectively for especially for a company like ours, when it's supporting and leveling the playing field against some of our higher funded competitors. Now we're a bootstrap company, which means we finance everything ourselves. We don't look outside of our own company for financing to do big marketing initiatives, which puts a lot of these big pushes or for development, marketing, sales out of reach for us, because we can't afford it. Otherwise, we'd have to increase our license, and then it becomes, not useful to our nonprofits. But AI can help us bridge some of those gaps like never before. So that is something that I'm really, really focused on. Now, I want to talk about this 5 mile perspective. What does this mean? Break it down, Matt. I mean, that sounds all well and good and pie in the sky, but how does it actually work? Well, we've done a really good job over the last couple of years of organizing ClickBid into very specific departments that are very well documented, very well organized, and understood by the management team and by the staff. And so what it does is it makes it very easy for me to take a look at those departments and say, how can AI help bring some more capabilities to the team that exists and support them, not replace them, support them. So let's just go through it. So in the sales department, outreach and introduction, something we've always wanted to do, but it's very difficult to afford something like this, is to just let people know you exist. It's not a good thing to be an industry's best kept secret, which I think we are. We want to be able to get out there and just saturate the industry and the market with our name. Just let people know, hi, we're ClickBid. We are a support-driven platform that helps charities when they need it the most. And that is something, email is just, sending out thousands of emails with introductions and opportunities to connect with us. That's something that AI can help us with by surfacing those opportunities. Development. So our code development, our quality assurance testing and validation. We have incredible programmers. I literally look at the code. Our code is really, really good. AI is not going to improve that from the team that we have. So, which is a big push right now in AI is, replace your whole dev team with AI, coding agents. And we're just not there. I don't know that we'll ever be there. At the very least, it's a ways out. And with the team I have, with Marty, with Kyle, with Yuri, our 3 developers are remarkable. But how can AI help them? Well, debugging and interpreting. Not just our developers, but our quality assurance team. How can AI bring those people together a little bit closer by having AI, look at debug logs in real time and access logs and activity logs in real time? Take a bug that is really cryptic, in a stack dump and things like that, and have it translate to a QA person who is more than happy to test it and document it once they understand what actually the stack trace says happened. And so using AI to debug and interpret and to help write, product requirements and for specs and for, outlines for new feature development. Those are really good tools that AI can help our existing team of really talented people do. Marketing. This is a great one. There's a lot of discussion in AI about how AI can be your entire marketing team. And, I have, again, very, very lucky. I have a really good, but a one-man shop. Caroline is an amazing marketing person, expert, and she has done just great work. So how can AI help her? Well, I think she's got a list of 100 things that really, would be great if she had 2 extra assistants. But again, because we're bootstrapped, privately funded company, we have to set limits on what we can and can't do. So for us to compete against a platform that has, 3 and 4 people on its team is very difficult for us. But with AI, it can help bring things to her that she can then take action on that she knows she already needs to do or, to work on, letting AI clean up content. The amount of experience that she has going to events, sponsoring events, working with partners is tremendous. And we don't need AI to give her more knowledge about that. But what we need is for AI to kind of pull that information out of her head and put it on the page so that people can see it. And it can be more, it can give her more freedom to be at that higher level of the why. Why am I writing this? Why is this important? And AI can help answer some of the, how do we get it out there? How do we clean this up? How do we, do those things? So it's really, really awesome that I think AI can make that happen. And then account management. Account management for us is the support team that really stands next to a nonprofit. What's unique about ClickBid is that we have dedicated staff that get assigned to each nonprofit person. So, Jasmine, for instance, is connected to these nonprofits. So when they have questions throughout the year, she's the one who receives those questions. If she needs to speak to someone, if that nonprofit needs a phone call, she's the one who makes that phone call. So that is, again, really unique in our industry. We're not a call center. We don't rely on AI to answer all your questions. We actually, look at and answer those questions. So how is AI going to help us? Well, obviously, again, as a bootstrap company, we're limited in our capabilities to be available 24/7. So after 5 p.m. Eastern time and before 9 a.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, we're unfortunately not available to answer a chat. Now, we do monitor emails, and if you are running an event, we are on call for that specific event. But we're going to be turning on an AI chatbot that our team is actually training every single day. So during 9 to 5, we have, Hannah, Kira answering chats, human chat answering. We're not looking at AI to remove that capability. We want to keep it because it's been so successful for us. The answers we can give in chat are, we don't escalate. We don't have to escalate them. We don't have to, let me get back to you. The person answering those chats is an expert account manager. And we don't want to change that. But after 5 o'clock, there is nobody. So what we can do is provide the AI to help steer people in the right direction. And we know that AI is being trained by Hannah and Kira to answer questions in real time better when they're not available. And so that is, again, we're taking something that didn't exist because of, limited resources, and we're making it available with AI. I really, something that's really resonated. That example is what really resonated with me when I was thinking, how do I make sure that AI is being productive for our team, but not barging its way in and taking over things? So important. And so I think, using AI to help level the field for us has been really, really important. Now, finance. Now, how can AI help with finance? Again, we have a one-man shop. Kevin is an incredible, he just keeps everything buttoned down, on budget, on task. And it's awesome. But he's, as a one-man shop, he's very busy. And, every month we do financial reviews and we look at the company and we make sure it's staying healthy. So, but to a non-finance person like me, I look at a lot of that stuff goes over my head. So instead of having Kevin on speed dial 24/7, how can I take that information and use AI to summarize it in layman's terms for a fifth grader like me? And then I can take some of the questions I get from that and validate it directly with Kevin so that I'm not asking him to rewrite and redo and handle things that are just really way out of his capacity. So again, today I would just not ask the question because I don't want to bother Kevin. But now I can use AI with some of those financial documents, and I can ask for summaries, I can ask for interpretations because he's doing such good work to prepare them in the first place. And really, again, this really goes to show that the lesson that I've learned is all the work we spent in the last 2 years, 3 years, building an org structure and accountability chart and things that hold the company together operationally, for a guy like me is just, nails on a chalkboard. I don't want to mess with that. I want to talk about vision. I want to talk about new features and new products and, whatever. That stuff just drives me crazy. But the only reason that we can insert AI into the ways that that I'm talking about is because we have a company that is organized and structured, and it can just fit. And so the last section, the operations team. So we have a really robust ops team that builds standard operating procedures, documentation, things that help us stay focused, stay on track, not drift off center so that we can continue to build and deliver the same quality product over time. It doesn't just happen because we want it to. It's because we have documents, we have standard operating procedures. Again, these are the things that I don't have time for. I hate that stuff. But we have really good people that make that happen. And how can AI support that? Again, we don't have the resources to have somebody who's really just a traffic cop who's making sure that all this documentation is up to date, current. But AI can actually assist in those things by saying, hey, these are the oldest files in your standard operating procedures document, our folder on Drive. You should take a look at these. I'm going to summarize all of these for a fifth grader and put that at the top of the document so that, people like Matt who don't understand operations can understand it in a better way. And this document doesn't just sit cold on a shelf, digital shelf, and not get used at all. And so how can, again, Lisa and her team and her management team not waste time with these standard operating procedures, but actually have AI help keep them in surfacing the older ones to become, updated and, organized, easy to find by the rest of the team and so on, because we just don't have the financial resources to pay more and more people to do those things. So as we grow, AI can fill in those gaps. So, I was going to do a 5-mile perspective, but then it ended up being like a 1 mile, like down to like 1 foot perspective as I went through each one of those: sales, development, marketing, account management, finance, and ops. It really started to click when I started looking at AI in that way. I spend a lot of time in artificial intelligence and, building systems and, you're writing code and seeing what's possible and where we're headed and listening to podcasts. And really, in all of that, I think the best case for us between now and the end of the year is really to look at AI as a way to support the team without replacing the team in any way, but helping us, more importantly, level a lot of that competitive playing field, because we now have some resources that we didn't have available to us. And in the 23 years that we've been in existence, haven't been able to, blast out a big email campaign to say, hi, we exist, or to watch error logs in real time so that we can kind of head off bugs before they get to the quality assurance team, and modernize standard operating procedures so that people like Matt who don't like standard operating procedures can actually go, well, these are actually good because they're updated and well maintained. So I'm really excited about that strategy going forward and how that's going to fit within our team of experts at ClickBid. So anyway, I hope that was of some substance and of some value. So, yep, further on down the road we go, and we'll see you next time.